What up guys, it is Justice here and welcome back to Runescape. In today's video I'm going to be talking through about being proactive at Telos in terms of responding in advance to attacks and prepping for those special attacks that come your way. And it's more just going through what I've learned up to this stage, and I will be taking you through my progress so far towards obtaining the Warden title. So the Warden title is unlocked when successfully killing Telos at 500% in Rage. Currently I'm around 312% as I'm making this video, and I'll probably do some more kills today at some point, so I might show some footage or just edit it in the comment section of the latest in Rage that I got up to, potentially. But either way, I'm making progress, and hopefully I will get there to 500%. On average now, I'm happy. Like, my goal is to get between 12 and 15% in rage increase per hour, and that's usually from getting around 2 or 3 Telos kills an hour. Because, you know, I'll at least fail when I go up and in rage. I'll usually fail at least once within that hour, which has taken up 15 minutes of my time, depending on when I fail. If I fail within the first couple of phases, which isn't very often, it's usually phase 3. Let's say if I fail in phase 3, then that's usually around 5 minutes of time, 6 minutes of time lost. But then, of course, you have to redo the entire kill to then get a chain of 2 kills to increase your enrage. So that's why my goal right now, which I set myself so I don't get too downhearted if I die a lot within the hour, is to go up between 12 and 15% in rage. And that way I know I should be aiming for, I know exactly how many hours it should take me theoretically to reach 400% and then reach 500%. I know it gets more difficult, but that's why I'm averaging 12 to 15%, because I learn how to overcome the extra difficulty as I increase in rage. And once you get past the next tier, so once you go up in rage and you actually chain those kills together, you can usually, and this is how it works for me, I can usually then do all the previous kills fairly okay without failing. It's only the one which is increased that I usually fail at, let's say once to twice an hour. And that's usually the pattern that I'm following right now, and that's the progress which I'm making towards 500% and the way I'm doing it. The reason why I say that is because when I do reach 400%, I'll be like, how was I not doing the 320%? And it's just because you have to get over that increase in difficulty, and once you're over that, you can then do the kills pretty easily before that. And it's all about your own skill level as well. Some people will be able to race through the enrage up until 250, 300% with minimal failure, but that isn't me. And my skill level, it requires me to learn things as I go, and when I go up and in rage, you know, it takes me a couple of tries to then get that one. So yeah, usually when I fail, it's due to silly mistakes, mostly. Adapting to the increased in rage, so the more DPS you have to deal at certain times throughout the fight, and the more damage you have to take, and the lack of opportunity to have a mistake. You know, you can't really get away with it as much, and the nuke attacks hurt more in phase 3 if you get hit by one and things like that. But usually it's down to a silly mistake of not using freedom at the right time, getting KO'd by a smash or something like that. And that's probably down to a lack of concentration at a time, because if you're grinding it out for like even an hour, 2 hours at a time, you don't realize how much you're actually concentrating to be able to do this boss. You know, it's a long fight for a solo boss, a lot of mechanics, a lot of predicting that you have to do in counting attacks. You know, you compare that to group bosses where if it was longer, like a Virago kill, at least you've got teammates there with you who are doing the fight with you, and there's different times throughout that fight where you have to pay more attention, and then other parts of the fight where it's quite AFK and relaxed. So in this, it's just full intense, it's high intensity throughout the entire fight. There's absolutely no respite until you get incredible at the boss, but you know, even then, it's you know, your brain's constantly active. There's no real AFK, and maybe other people can relate to that. That's how I do it, and in this way, it helps me not get downhearted with the boss. Like I said, I can keep going. It is a grind. It's perseverance. And at this rate, I will be reaching the Warden title at some point. And to get to 500%, I'm predicting it's going to take me around another 15 hours, potentially. Any tips that you can give me if you've already unlocked the Warden title, feel free to whack them in the comment section. Even though I might know some of those things already, honestly, I don't mind. Just write them in the comment section, even if it's simple, if you feel like it could help. But more so those extra things, which I'm going to talk through now, which I've learned, which aren't like part of the basic guides, or it's not part of the basic mechanics. It's just stuff that I've tend to pick up on or from discussing with mates, little things that have helped me get smoother kills at Telos. So feel free to write those little extra things in the comment section, and that would be great. And also people who are trying to get up high within Telos or just trying to do the boss, that will also help them out as well. So that'd be cool. So let's talk about being proactive at Telos and go through a few little things that I picked up on that just help me. Some of these things are basic, some of the things are just extra things that you might not think about if you've only got up to 100% in Rage. So first off, phase 1, I'm not even going to go into it. Pretty simple phase, you just go through it and you should not be eating at all throughout that phase. Just make sure that you predict the specials. Remember, it's every 3 auto attacks, and just predict those smashes so you can get huge resonances off there. And that's what really helps you with the high end Rage and minimizes the amount of food that you actually intake until phase 5 or phase 3 if you need to emergency eat for the special. So phase 1, you should not be eating, you should be utilizing the special smash so you can get the resonances. Same with phase 2 and all of the phases, you should always be predicting when that smash is going to happen. But yeah, phase 2, I think the attacks carry over from phase 1. If I'm wrong with that, I'm wrong with that. But either way, all I know is that it feels like that because at the start of phase 2, he'll either do a special straight away or he'll wait like 2 or 3 auto attacks. He will either start phase 2 with a link, and by link I mean he grabs you, entangles you, and then you have to DPS to get out there, and it's a certain amount of damage as you go up. You can also use a Guthix staff that increases your accuracy throughout the fight, and you can use this at times within the fight. That will help you even more to make sure that the special is activated, to make sure the debuff is activated. And a good time to use it is when it's about to link, when you know it's going to link. Let's say if you do splash at very high in Rage, so between 4 to 500% in Rage when I get there. If I'm splashing at that point, that can really do you in, because you will constantly be getting damage, but at the same time Telos is also healing, so you have to do all of that DPS over again. So make sure you're prepped for your links. Alright, let's move on to phase 3 and have a look at what's happening here. I decided to use meta in this kill. Luckily the red beam spawned close to me. I had 100% adren at the start of the phase. That's when it's actually worth using meta, I'd say, at the beginning if you have 100% adren moving into phase 3. Make sure you've got an adren pot as well so you can get up to your thresholds quickly. Otherwise you're going to lose adren when you're in the red beam and you're going to struggle to get a threshold out, or you'll get 1 threshold out, but you'll struggle to get 2 out. In this, I managed to get a wild magic out, and it hit a colossal double 10k. I mean, that's the first time I've ever seen a double 10k wild magic hit. And of course, your damage is increased in the red beam, and it's just incredible to see that. I had a very nice phase 3 here, but the kill before this, I had the most horrific phase 3 I've had so far, where I decided to use Sunshine, and that can work very well, but not if Telos pushes you out of the way and ends up going in front of the beam. Then you have to go to the opposite side of the arena to get in the beam, or behind him, and then you just completely screwed over. That's what happened to me. So you can use Sunshine. There's a guy I know who's done like a 300 kills, and he uses Sunshine supposedly and really finds it's nice and smooth, and it can work out okay, I guess, because you can DPS after the red beam goes as well within it, as long as you can get back to it after the charge and things like that, and then you can kill the minions in it and KO them. But honestly, let me know what your preference is for phase 3, and again, you can onslaught as well, but I like to do that earlier in Rages. Now I do prefer to use meta, but there's 3 main things you want to consider, and these are prioritized. Priority 1 is to keep Telos out of the red beam. As soon as he's in the red beam, you're done for. Priority 2 is kill the minions. As soon as they spawn, get rid of the minions, because they actually feed Telos orbs. That will make the bar unbalanced, and it will go into the red area fairly quickly, especially if there's 3 minions alive. So kill those ASAP. And the third priority is to go in the beam yourself, and the ongoing priority, I would say, throughout the entire kill of Telos is to keep him away from all of the walls due to the anti-warp mechanic. I really dislike the anti-warp mechanic, as you know from one of my previous videos, but there's ways around it in the aspect of you just have to work with the environment. You have to get used to moving Telos, pushing him out of the way. When he's meleeing you, he'll always follow you, so just make sure you're around the center of the map and that you're not right next to the wall if possible. Now we're going to talk about phase 4. Like, there's a bar that charges up, that special bar, and when it gets to full, he unleashes that green ball of doom, which just completely wrecks you to shreds. Like, it's hitting me 9 to 10Ks right now at my Rage. Like, it's ridiculous. If it does hit me, if it hits me, I'm pretty much dead. That's why I never let it hit me, and it's all about countering that. So in order to only have to tank 1 green ball of doom throughout phase 4, Telos will charge up for his insta-kill attack whilst also spawning a batch of minions 3 times, 3 stages throughout phase 4. The first one is usually around 112k, 75k LP on the second, and under 40k on the third, usually about 37k for me. LPs are relative to killing Telos at 200% in Rage or higher. So a quick explanation, you want to stand in the first one ASAP, wait a little bit for the second, and go into the third one ASAP. This will mean the bar will only charge up fully once, and that will be whilst you're standing in the second font when Telos releases his insta-kill Make sure to stun Telos with preferably Asphyxiate, then Impact or Deep Impact. So make sure Resonance is off cooldown, ready to resonance the green ball of doom. So it only hits you 0. Timing this correctly comes with practice, but wait a game tick after it's been released and you should be okay. I usually kill minions in the following order for each font: red Volcanic first, black Corrupt second, and green Pure Anima Golem last, which dies usually the same time as the Corrupt one due to AoEs. Phase 5, again, I'm not going to go into it in too much depth. Basically, in Phase 5, the minions spawn. You want to be utilizing your Immortality ability because that can prevent the insta-kills from killing you, except for when you're above 1000% in rage. So the colored fonts, green, black, and red, are always in the same place throughout the arena, but the minions, when the minions spawn, that is in a different order and that's randomized. Usually I'll use Immortality twice throughout Phase 5, and then I'll actually lure the minions to the font once throughout Phase 5, and by that time, I definitely usually should have taken Telos down, and the kill should be complete. I will camp in the green beam to kill the minions because you can rotate Cade, Revenge, and use the Tsunami 100% ultimate ability in order to take the minions down really quickly, and you won't feel the loss of the adrenaline when using Tsunami, so it's very, very nice to use that here. I will try and camp the red beam as much as possible if I've got high adren to DPS Telos, but overall, if the red minions spawn, you want to be rotating between Freedom and Anticipate so you're not being stunned. The green minions spawn, just DPS through them as fast as you can. The black minions spawn, you want to really prioritize Cade and the defensives because they reduce your armor effectiveness. But yeah, let's just summarize the biggest things for me, which I've learned then with Telos so far up to this point, which really made a difference for my kills and allowed me to get to where I am now and hopefully get to 500% in the future, and I will pick up on more things. But Phase 4, to be honest, the timing to go into the fonts was just the biggest thing for me. To make sure to only get one green ball of doom being casted to me throughout that phase was really important. Getting used to the movement on Phase 3, and then Phase 5, the strat of DPSing minions within the green beam, using Immortality twice to counter the insta-kill, and luring a batch of minions once into the font to make sure you've got a relic there ready to activate to prevent being insta-killed. So guys, that's the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on this topic, especially if you do have the Warden title and you really want to share the knowledge that you have that just made that journey a little bit smoother for you. So feel free to share those strats with the community here, and I'll see you all in the next one.